When you stop being available, everything changes. There comes a moment in life when you realize that being everything to everyone is costing you the most important person in your life, you. Maybe you've been the one who always shows up, who answers every call, who carries the weight without complaint, but deep down, you're tired, you're questioning why you're surrounded by people, yet feel unseen. This message is for the silent warriors, the people pleasers turned exhausted, the strong ones who are finally ready to reclaim their peace. In the next few minutes, I'm not just going to motivate you, I'm going to help you remember who you are. So stay with me. Because once you understand what happens when you stop being available to everything that drains you, everything in your life will begin to shift. And you'll never want to go back. The first keynote, availability is energy. The more you give, the more people take, often without appreciation or reciprocation, speaks directly to one of the most overlooked truths in our lives. Your availability is not just about your time. It's your mental space, emotional bandwidth, your inner peace, your boundaries, and above all, your energy. Every time you say yes to someone, something, or some situation that drains you, you're saying no to something else that could have brought you life, clarity, or momentum. When you constantly make yourself available, you unknowingly become a source that others feed from, often without permission and almost always without gratitude. People learn how to treat you based on what you allow, and when you give and give without boundaries, many will come to see your constant presence as a right, not a privilege. They will drain your light, your focus, your compassion, and then have the nerve to get upset when you finally decide to step back. And what's worse, sometimes you're not even aware it's happening. It starts small, a few favors, a few late night calls, a few instances where you silence your own needs to accommodate someone else's emergency. Before you know it, you've built a reputation of being always there, always answering, always giving. And without meaning to, you've made your energy accessible to those who don't deserve it. The harsh reality is that most people don't value what they have unlimited access to. Think about it, the things we cherish the most in life are often the ones we had to work for, wait for, or respect deeply. Why? Because effort creates appreciation. But when you're always available, there's no effort, there's no mystery. There's no room for others to value your time because you've already given it away without cost. And eventually that drains your sense of worth. You begin to confuse being needed with being loved. You think that your constant yes is a sign of loyalty, when really it's often just a symptom of a fear of being rejected, disliked, or left out. But here's the truth that stings before it heals. If your presence is only valued when it's free, then it's not truly valued at all. Your energy is a currency, and not everyone deserves change from you. You can't keep pouring into everyone else while your own cup stays empty. That's not strength, that's self-abandonment. And it catches up to you, emotionally, mentally, even physically. That's why protecting your availability isn't selfish, it's essential. Because every time you say yes without intention, you're giving away a piece of yourself that you may never get back. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should get your time, your focus, or your spirit. People respect what is rare is not just a catchy phrase, it's a truth that echoes through every part of life, especially when it comes to how others perceive and treat you. When something is always available, people begin to overlook its value. It becomes expected, ordinary, and even taken for granted. This applies to resources, opportunities, and yes, to people too. You. When you are always accessible, always saying yes, always showing up, even when you're running on empty, people stop seeing it as a gift and start treating it like a given. The power of your presence starts to fade in their eyes, not because you have changed, but because your availability has become routine. You've become part of the background noise instead of a powerful, intentional voice. We live in a world where attention is currency, and anything that comes too easily is often dismissed. Think about how people react to limited edition products, VIP access, or rare encounters. They pay more, wait longer, and show more respect. Why? Because rarity creates value. Scarcity commands focus. It sends a signal that what is offered is not for everyone and that it must be earned, honored, or appreciated. And the same goes for your time, your energy, and your presence. When you stop giving unlimited access to everyone, you start changing the way people respond to you. They lean in a little closer. They choose their words more carefully. They respect the moments you do show up because they know it's not out of obligation, it's out of intention. But if you make yourself too easy to reach, too easy to lean on, you begin to lose the power of presence. You become the one people expect to be there, not the one they're grateful to be around. That shift in perception may feel subtle at first, but over time it builds patterns, and patterns shape relationships. People begin to assume your yes is automatic. They no longer ask, they expect. They no longer thank you, they assume you'll show up. And slowly, without even realizing it, you start becoming invisible in plain sight. overlooked, underappreciated, and emotionally drained. That's why creating space matters. When you step back, even just a little, you give people the chance to reflect on what your presence actually means. You allow them to miss you. You allow them to recognize the weight you carry and the value you bring. And more importantly, you remind yourself that your worth isn't found in how often you show up, but in how intentionally you do. Your value is not determined by how available you are, but by how aligned you are with your purpose, your boundaries, and your inner peace. People respect what they can't take for granted. So when you stop making yourself so accessible to those who don't honor your worth, you give them the opportunity to either rise up and meet you with respect or fall away, revealing they were never meant to have that access in the first place. Saying no is one of the most powerful forms of self-respect, yet it's one of the hardest things for people to do. We live in a culture that often praises overcommitment, celebrates self-sacrifice, and confuses people-pleasing with kindness. From an early age, many of us are taught that saying yes keeps the peace, makes others happy, and proves we are good, dependable people. But here's the truth, saying yes when your spirit is saying no is not kindness, it's self-abandonment. Every time you agree to something that goes against your energy, your boundaries, your values, or your rest, you're placing someone else's comfort above your own dignity. That's not strength, that's survival, and survival isn't sustainable. When you start saying no to what drains you, manipulates you, or distracts you from your path, you begin to rewrite the narrative. You stop living from a place of guilt and start living from a place of grounded clarity. Saying no doesn't make you cold. It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you clear on who you are and what you deserve. It means you finally realize your energy is not an unlimited resource to be handed out for approval. It's your responsibility to protect it. Saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. It's how you guide your life toward what actually matters and away from what simply fills space but empties you inside. A yes, given from pressure, is a silent agreement to disrespect yourself. But a no, spoken with confidence, is a declaration of self-worth. You're no longer available for chaos disguised as urgency. You're no longer tolerating obligations disguised as loyalty. You're no longer carrying responsibilities that aren't yours to hold. And in doing so, you're giving yourself permission to rest, to heal, to focus, to breathe. Because every no to something misaligned is a yes to your peace, your time, your purpose. It takes courage to say no. Courage to disappoint others in order to stay true to yourself. Courage to be misunderstood without needing to defend your choices. But that courage sets you free. Free from cycles of burnout. Free from feeling like you owe everyone access to your life. Free from the lie that love equals sacrifice without limits. The people who truly care about you won't crumble when you set boundaries. They will respect you more for them. And the people who disappear when you say no were only ever there for what they could take, not for who you are. The world will pull at you in every direction. Opportunities, requests, obligations, all calling your name. But not everything that asks for you deserves you. Not everything that wants your time has earned your trust. And not everyone who reaches for you is reaching from love. Sometimes they're reaching to use, to drain, to distract. That's why no is not just a word, it's a shield. It's how you protect your future from the weight of what doesn't serve your soul. Change starts with boundaries, because boundaries are the lines that separate what builds you from what breaks you. Without them, your life becomes a free-for-all. Your time, your energy, your emotions handed out to anyone who asks whether they deserve it or not. The truth is, most people don't recognize they're overstepping until you stop letting them. And that's why the shift in your life doesn't begin when you work harder, give more, or say yes to everything. It begins the moment you get honest enough to say, this is what I will no longer tolerate. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are bridges that show people how to reach you in a healthy way. They communicate your values without needing to shout. They create space for respect to grow. The people who truly care about you will see your boundaries not as rejection, but as clarity, a clear map of how to love you, honor you, and walk with you without stepping on your peace. But you have to draw those lines first. No one else can do it for you, because if you don't set the tone for how you're treated, someone else will write that story for you. And often it's a version where you come last. When you begin enforcing boundaries, you'll start to see everything differently. You'll notice who respects your space and who resents it, who adjusts and who accuses, who stays and who starts to fade. And while that might feel like loss, it's actually alignment. Boundaries don't push away the wrong people, they reveal them. And more importantly, they attract the right ones. The ones who don't need to take from you to feel valuable, the ones who aren't intimidated by your growth, the ones who want to build with you, not drain you. Setting boundaries doesn't require anger, it doesn't require explanation, it requires consistency. The first time you say, I can't do this today, and you don't feel guilty, you'll feel a new kind of strength. The first time you choose peace over pleasing, you'll realize how much of your life you spent bending to keep others comfortable while you broke in silence. Change starts when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into places that never honored your presence. It starts when you stop negotiating your value for temporary approval. It starts when you protect your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. The most powerful version of you is the one that isn't easily accessed by chaos. The one that doesn't feel guilty for needing space. The one that understands being available to everyone means being fully present for no one, not even yourself. And the moment you decide that your mental health, your spiritual clarity, and your emotional peace are non-negotiable, you'll feel something shift, not just in you, but around you. Because when you raise your standards, your life follows. When you set boundaries, you don't just protect your heart, you shape your entire environment. That's where transformation begins. Your peace is not negotiable because it is the foundation of everything good in your life. Your clarity, your confidence, your decisions, your relationships, your purpose. Without peace, you are reactive instead of reflective, drained instead of driven, anxious instead of aligned. And yet so many people willingly sacrifice it every day. They give it up to be liked, to keep the peace externally while they crumble internally, to meet expectations that don't align with who they are. But here's the truth. When you protect your peace, you are not being distant, you are being wise. You are not being selfish, you are being responsible with your energy, your space, and your future. Peace doesn't just happen, it is something you build, protect, and defend. It's not found in isolation or silence alone, it's found in how you choose, moment by moment, to not let the chaos around you control the calm within you. It's found in walking away from arguments that steal your joy, in saying no to people who only bring confusion, in choosing rest over the pressure to constantly perform. Peace requires boundaries, and those boundaries often upset people who benefited from your lack of them. That's why peace is expensive. Not because it costs you, but because it reveals who was only connected to your chaos. When you start valuing peace over attention, over drama, over constant doing, you'll lose some things, maybe some people too, but what you gain is immeasurable. You gain a deeper connection with yourself. You gain mental space to hear your own thoughts, to reflect, to dream, to grow. You begin to move differently, not in a rush to respond, not in a hurry to prove anything, but with intention and awareness. That shift creates alignment. And when you're aligned, your life stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like purpose. People may not understand your peace. They may question why you don't engage in the same conversations, chase the same approval, or respond to every call for your time. Let them misunderstand. You're not here to explain your healing to people who benefit from your brokenness. You're not here to justify why you're no longer available to chaos. You're here to build a life that reflects who you truly are, not the version of you others want to control. Protecting your peace means you no longer attend every argument you're invited to. You no longer chase people who make you question your worth. You no longer force yourself into places that don't feel right just because you don't want to disappoint someone else. You know that your peace isn't passive, it's powerful. It's a signal to the world that you are grounded, that you know who you are, and that you are no longer willing to betray yourself for the comfort of others. Peace is your compass, peace is your filter, peace is your power. And when you stop treating it like an option and start living like it's your priority, everything in your life begins to align with who you were always meant to be. You know, when you stop being available to everything and everyone, you don't become bitter, you become better. You don't lose people, you gain clarity. You stop bleeding for people who wouldn't give you a bandage. You stop pouring into places that only leave you empty. And in that quiet space where you choose yourself, you find power, you find purpose, you find peace, because boundaries aren't about pushing others away. They're about bringing yourself home. When you protect your energy, say no with confidence, and honor your own worth, your life transforms. Not suddenly, but steadily, and the world around you shifts to match the strength you now carry within. Everything changes, because you changed. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and for being honest enough with yourself to take this message in. I see your growth, even if the world hasn't yet. I believe in your journey, even if it's still messy. Keep choosing yourself, keep guarding your peace, and never forget, you are not here to be everything for everyone. You're here to be fully you. That's more than enough. Stay strong, stay grounded, and may this next chapter of your life be filled with clarity, courage, and calm. Good luck, you've got this.